Now we're going to look at the same problem using the weighted average costing system. Now for the weighted average system, you're only going to use one row for each day. So on September 1st, you have 115 units that cost 255 units. Now on this one, you might want to say weighted average cost. Oh, excuse me. And then this one says total cost. Okay, so let's think about weighted average for just a minute. Now, if you have a room full of items that each cost $255, then the average cost of each item is $255. So when you're given inventory, beginning inventory, that is the average cost of that beginning inventory. So to find total cost, you'll just multiply that out. And I'll go ahead and copy that formula down. Okay, so on the 10th, we sell, we're in these three columns right here, we're going to sell 100 units that cost us $255 each. Multiply that out to get your cost of goods sold for that day. And then we are left with 15 units, $255 each as an average cost. So your total cost of inventory at the end of January 10th is $3,825. On the 18th, we are going to purchase 110 units, cost us $260 each for a total cost, we're going to add that up, of $28,600. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to find the average cost. This blank right here is going to be very important, and that's what you'll be graded on the test. So watch me very carefully to see how I calculate this. Step one, I'm going to figure out how many units I have after the purchase on the 18th. So I started out with 15 and then I purchased 110 more. So I actually have 125 units in my ending inventory. The next thing I'm going to calculate is the total price. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the cost of those 15 units plus the cost that I just purchased of those 110 units to get my total cost. Now, if I have the total cost, which these are all dollars right here, so this is cost per unit, the weighted average cost right here. So if I have the total cost and I know the number of units, can we find the weighted average? So what we'll do is we will take, I'll put equals here, the total cost divided by the number of units, enter. $259.40 is the average cost per unit after this purchase. Then on the 27th, we're going to sell 105 units. What's the average cost per unit? Well, we just determined that it's $259.4. So then we'll figure out cost of goods sold. And then to find ending inventory, we had 125 units, we sold 105, therefore we're left with 20 units, average cost of $259.40 for a total ending inventory of, so the main thing you need to know here, 5,188 is ending inventory, okay? So that is our ending inventory right here. Copy, I can put it down here. Cost of merchandise sold. Sold for the month. We actually sold 205 units. Total cost of, so I'll add these together. 52,737. So the main thing I want you to see here is the highlighted number. The weighted average cost is going to change every time you make a purchase. It doesn't change with beginning balance or with any items that are sold, but as soon as you bring new items into the storage room that have a higher cost, then the cost per item is going to change. Your weighted average is going to change. Let me do that to make those even, okay? So you see here, that is the weighted average on September 18th, and then we use that amount for the sale and that amount for the ending inventory. So $259.40 would be the weighted average on that day, which might be a question in your homework. Now what I want us to look at is the ending inventory. Let me see if I can do this here. Ending inventory for each one of these examples. So let's go back up to FIFO and let me kind of set this up a little bit better. Ending inventory, we had 20 units at a cost of $5,200. And this is our ending inventory. I'll merge and center that. Merchandise sold for the month is 52,725, and the items that we sold, let's see if it'll let me sum this up here. 205 units. Okay, this I'm going to box in, and this I'll box in so we can compare this. Okay, notice that the number of items we sold and the ending inventory items are the same. The reason for that is I used the exact same information for all three examples. So if you are working a homework problem and you have to do all three methods, these numbers, the cost of goods sold, the number of units sold, and the number of units in ending inventory should stay the same. Now let's look at the cost. FIFO is first in, first out. That means as soon as you buy something, you're going to put it on that truck as soon as possible. So the earlier units that you buy, the older units are actually out the door first. So if prices are steadily increasing, then the less expensive items are going to be sold first. That means that your cost of goods sold will be less for FIFO, and your ending inventory will be made up of your higher dollar items. Okay, let's look at this, and I can make this a little smaller so we can compare that. Very small here to go at all three, but here we go. Cost of goods sold using FIFO is $52,725. Cost of goods sold for the month using LIFO is $52,800. It's going to be more expensive. Why? Because the last in the door, the higher dollar units were sold first. Ending inventory would be less expensive because the older items are still left in ending inventory. Weighted average should fall right in between. And you see here the weighted average cost of ending inventory is right in between the other two methods, and cost of merchandise sold for the month, that should fall right in between those two methods also. So those are the three methods of calculating the cost of inventory using the inventory costing sheet.